Morning.
In the repair shop today, Brenton struggles
It's absolutely wedged in there.
to get a 1930s camera snap-happy again.
I'm convinced I'm going to get it out.
And Steve's in horology heaven,
Good, that seems to be quite nicely balanced, actually.
restoring a handmade clock that's never told the right time.
Now I need to get on with the anti-clunk mechanism.
But first, a much-loved childhood toy in need of a makeover. Emma Patinson from Somerset is hoping Julie and Amanda can work their magic on her quirky companion.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to the barn.
Thank you very much. So, I have a puppet that my dad gave me in the 1970s.
Oh, look.
Who's looking a little bit sorry for himself, but his name is Willy.
Sorry. Oh, what a fun name. Is there a reason for that?
I was about 8 years old and I loved the name Billy. And what 8-year-old doesn't like a rhyme? So
Absolutely.
Willy it was.
So, how does he work?
So he has a stick at the back
Yeah.
and a little piece of string that you pull that works his mouth.
Oh, wow.
He has hands.
Oh, I love him. That's wonderful.
So was he Christmas, birthday, was it a present?
So he was a present from my dad. My dad got cancer, so my nan thought it would be good for him to go to Scotland to a health farm.
Yeah.
He was gone probably a couple of months, which is a long time when you're 8.
Yeah.
And I can remember he phoned us and said, what did we want as a present when he came back? And in the 70s, puppets were all the rage. And
I remember that.
yeah, so I just asked for a puppet and I got Willy, and yeah, I was absolutely thrilled with him. So it was the last thing that my dad gave me because he died soon after.
Oh, OK.
We don't have many photographs of Dad, so this is all I've got of my dad,
Yeah.
nothing else. So so that's why he's so special.
Oh.
Sorry.
It's OK.
It's all right.
It's OK.
I don't think I ever really went anywhere without him, kind of between the age of 8 and kind of 11, really.
OK.
I loved him then and I love him now. But my kids absolutely hate him. They're scared stiff of him. That's to do with his crack on his face.
I'm presuming he didn't always only have one leg.
No. I was about 11.
Right.
And me and my brother were having an argument. And my brother pulled his leg, which came off.
Yes.
He flew out of my hands and smashed against the wall.
Oh.
So that hence the crack on his face.
We'll have to ask Kirsten about his head, because I'm sure she's going to need a little bit of help from her.
Well, he's lovely.
He must have been very special.
Yeah, he is. That's why I've still got him after, all these years.
How do you think your father would feel?
I think he'd be quite chuffed to know that that I'd kept him. You know, at a time in his life when he was at his lowest, you know, he had the energy to pick presents for his children that he knew would mean something to them. And I think he'd be over the moon to know that Willy was getting a second chance and that hopefully, you know, grandchildren that he'll never see will get to play with him.
Thank you so much for bringing him.
That's okay.
We will look after him for you. We'll be in touch when he's ready.
Perfect. Lovely to meet you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It's difficult to understand what happens when you lose a parent, and you take it with you all through your life. You know, it's always there. Willy was such a kind of a fun gift. You know, you can't be sad when you're playing with a clown puppet. He's a big part of who I am and hopefully a big part of my kids' lives, and he'll always be that reminder of my dad, and, you know, he's always held really special memories and he always will.
tell you what's going through my head?
Okay.
We need to get his head off because we need to get it over to Kirsten. It's kind of outfits all in one, but I feel we need to get it into parts. He's got a very long leg, it keeps going up to his armpits. OK, so that I think is the bit that his legs are attached to. It's very clever, actually, in a sort of simple way. If I pull this leg, yay! I think this all just needs a really lovely clean. There's only a few bits I think we'll need to actually replace.
That's good.
Which is great. I'm just going to carry on. I'm going to take all these bits off now.
Do you know what? I think the best thing we can do here is hand this to Kirsten as it is. When it comes back, I will pop a new hat on him. So Kirsten's got the head, you've got the clothes, I've got a sort of body and a leg.
Brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
Hello. Thought you might be heading this.
Billy Willy.
Okay.
He needs your help. This nasty crack runs right down his face.
Oh, look. Leave him with me. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you.
The next visitor is Eloise Badger from Essex. She's hoping antique camera restorer Brenton West can fix her treasured heirloom with a little help from leather expert Suzie Fletcher.
Hello there.
Hiya.
What have you brought us today?
So I've got my great-grandmother's camera with me. I'll get it out for you so you can have a look, if I can, because it's a bit stiff.
Is it?
Oh,
It looks fairly old.
It is very old.
Goodness.
90 years, I believe.
90 years?
Yeah.
How did your great-grandmother come across it?
So I believe she worked for it, earned money for it so that she could buy it, so that she could
She
photograph
bought
her
it?
young family as they're growing up, so.
So what year would this be about?
1932.
32, gosh.
Yeah.
That's amazing, because normally you never sort of think of great-grandmothers handling cameras. I always think great-grandfathers, perhaps.
Yeah. In those times, to be working to buy her own camera.
For a woman to own one.
Yeah. Breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, she really enjoyed photography. My granddad's sister said that he never saw her mum without this, so there's a lot of photos of my granddad and his brother and sister when they were younger, like outside in the garden.
Lovely.
So who gave you the camera?
My granddad did, so because it was his mother's, so he passed it on to me. I do fine art at university and I wanted to try and use film cameras, and along came this, but unfortunately it didn't work, so I couldn't use it.
So when was the camera last used?
My great-grandmother died in 1957, I believe.
Okay.
It stopped working just after she died, really, so...
Okay. The camera, you say, is broken.
Yes. So the lens is supposed to pull out to about here. I tried and tried and tried to pull it out, but I couldn't move it, and
Right,
I didn't want to break it,
Best you didn't force it out, OK.
Yeah.
The bag, is the bag...
I'm just a bit wary of the strap. It's kind of breaking along here, and just general scuffing.
So what's this going to mean to you, using this camera that was your great-grandmother's?
Just the absolute world is just really special. This is something, literally a piece of history right in front of me that I've got, yeah.
I can see your excitement. I can see how excited you are, and it's really nice to see the enthusiasm you got for it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Eloise, for bringing the camera in. I hope we can get it working for you, and I hope Suzie can make the bag look lovely for you. OK.
We'll do our best.
See you later.
Take care then. Bye-bye.
This camera's really special to me. If this camera did get working again, just being stood taking a photo on it would just be like stepping back in time, really.
So Eloise has given me her Kodak 1A autographic camera. A nice camera. It will hopefully take great pictures. It doesn't look like there's anything broken. I'll just have a little fiddle and see if I can get it to open. It's absolutely wedged in there. It's going to be quite hard to get this out. I'm convinced I'm going to get it out. There we go. I felt something sort of click, and I think it's just really, really tight in there. And now, for the first time in over 60 years, The camera is being extended. Fabulous. Looking at it now, I can see that these two bars here are very slightly bent. At some stage, this has been forced shut, I think, without this part being back. I've got to clean the lens inside and out, test the bellows to make sure no light leaks out of it. Now, unfortunately, you can't get 116 film, which is what this takes, anymore. So I'm going to have to make some spacers so I can use modern film in it. But the first thing I've got to do is straighten that bar, and I'm going to straighten that bar a little bit so that they sit on their springs properly. This is not sitting on its spring here. What I don't want to do is give Eloise a camera back without a method of opening it.
On the Bear Lady's bench, the 1970s puppet's outfit is about to be overhauled for the first time in 40 years.
Because we are dealing here with vintage cloth, I'm just going to use a very gentle hand-washing soap. Everything looks quite grubby, which isn't surprising, really. Billy Willy's been well played with, well loved. There's a lot of dirt coming out.
Now that we've got Billy Willy apart, we can start to look at making him a new leg. The first thing I need to do is unpick this one so that I can make a template from that to make him a new leg. It's pretty much a rectangle, so I can just measure that and put it onto the new fabric, and I'll be ready to make his new leg.
There seems to be this really large crack that's running down from his delightful orange hair. The plastic has twisted out of shape and has become very hard. I'm going to use some of this stretchy bandage to try and pull the face back into shape. Right, I'm going to try and exert a little bit of force. I can hear a slight sort of creaking sound as the plastic moves. Slightly alarming, but if you can feel how much pressure it's safe to apply. The two edges don't meet completely. I just need something to bridge that gap, so I'm going to bulk the adhesive and then push it in. I'm going to pick it up and try and align the cracks now. It's quite quick drying, but I don't know if it's going to work. So this is very much an experiment. Oh, channel the pressure. Oh, my hands are aching. I'm going to let go now and see whether that has worked. I think it has, which means I'm going to hold it a little bit longer. So just to make doubly sure. That's great. That's really worked well.
I'm choosing some fabric to make Billy Willy a new leg. I'm leaning towards this orange because there is a lot of orange going on with other parts of him. And this has that kind of retro feel about it. I really like it.
The adhesive has now cured and Billy Willy's head is stable, but because of the nature of Billy Willy's head, I couldn't force the edges any closer together without possibly breaking him further. This means that I'm going to have to step fill, and that means I've got the two edges like this, and the way I'm going to join them is to put a fill from one side to the other. I'm going to have to build up a few layers of filler, and then once I start retouching, he should look as Emma remembers him. I think it's going to look great. I'm really looking forward to painting on the mouth and also seeing what the Bear Ladies have done.
Next into the barn is Hugh David from Burnley. He's the proud custodian of a very unusual timepiece that requires the expert attention of horologist Steve Fletcher.
How we doing? Steve is dying to see what's in here. Can you do us the honours and take the lid off, please?
I will, yes.
Ah. Right.
Nice?
Yeah, very nice.
I know it's a clock, but it's a special one, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
Tell us about it, please, sir.
It's a Congreve rolling ball clock. A normal clock has a pendulum that swings from side to side, exactly.
Yeah.
This one has a ball that rolls all the way down these grooves here.
Yeah.
And when it gets to this end, trips the lever, the table tilts, and it goes all the way to the other end, hits the lever, trips it, and comes back.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
So who made this?
My grandfather made it from scratch.
So your grandfather made all the parts?
Yes.
Is he a clockmaker?
He was an electrical engineer by trade. There'd be 2, 3, 4 clocks in every room. We used to go and see him, and the clocks would be ticking and chiming, and absolutely beautiful.
What's your grandfather's name?
Oswald David.
So you're obviously quite close to your grandfather.
Yes. Me and my grandfather could talk about mechanical things, but it was a mutual interest in the way that 2 generations apart can have.
And is it working, or is it...
Right. When he built it, it worked.
OK.
But it wasn't perfect. The problem is the table tilts too quick.
OK.
And it tends to slam rather than tick. It's wearing on the movement, it hits it, and it hits it,
Yeah.
and it's going to damage it.
OK.
Was it keeping time?
Oh, no.
They're notoriously bad timekeepers.
If it's a bad timekeeper, why would you make something like this?
Because they're great fun, and you can get them near to time.
Do you know how long it took your grandfather to make this?
I've got invoices from 1982, I think, for the brass.
Right.
So that's when he started it.
OK.
And I have a photo which I can date in 1988.
When it was finished, completed?
When it looks finished and completed. He never perfected it. He was just developing dementia by this point. Oh. It's not fun watching somebody you know and respect disappearing before your eyes. Not fun at all.
No.
I mean, it's one of the memories we've got of him. And it would just to have it in the corner of the room, just gently ticking, would be absolutely fabulous.
Hugh, thank you for bringing this in. This is going to be a real joy.
Hopefully I can get it working smoothly. It's going to be a bit of a challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You take care now.
We've kept all the clocks that he had. This one is just special because my grandfather built it, every part by hand, and he's in it, really. And it would just be so lovely to see it working properly, and as it should be.
The first thing I'm going to do is to see if the mechanism is working correctly. I'm just going to wind it up first. So you can see that the actual main mechanism is turning and working correctly. And as it's spinning round, the table is working, albeit it's not stopping in the tilt position as it should do. The timing of the bed tilt is 30 seconds, and that's what actually regulates the speed of the clock. It's very dirty, everything is very, very loose. That is the main drive mechanism. This must have taken Oswald so many hours to make, hundreds and hundreds of hours. I've made a few clocks in my time, and one of the clocks that I made took me about 1,000 hours to make. But it's nice, it's so satisfying when you've made a clock. And you stand back and be proud of it. And I'm sure Oswald stood back from this and he was very proud of this. I just know it. Great, this is all coming apart nicely. As soon as I've got it all apart, I'll pop it into my clock cleaning fluid and get it all clean.
While Suzie assesses the wear and tear to the vintage camera's case, Brenton's doing the same for the bellows, the pleated structure that joins lens to camera.
The bellows look in really good condition, but I need to make sure that they're light tight. If any light comes through the side, it'll spoil the picture. So I'm just going to check them with a bright torch just to see if there's any holes in them. That's not so good. I can see on the joint lots of tiny little white dots. So I can see light coming through here, unfortunately. That's a bit disappointing. I'm hoping I'm going to try and repair them with some rubberized paint as a first resort. It's flexible, it stays flexible, and hopefully it will make the material light-proof. So I need to keep adding layer upon layer of this rubberized paint. If that doesn't work, then I'm going to have to get some new bellows for them, but we'll give it a go.
I just am really impressed with this wonderful little case that belongs to Eloise. It is, to me, a beautiful piece in itself. The handle actually has some weak points where you would expect just the constant bending of the leather. I also am going to have to resew all of the stitching because as it's being worn next to the body, that rubbing action has actually worn the thread through. So I'll just start by removing all this stitching and then I can get into cleaning.
While I'm waiting for this paint to dry, I've got to make a couple of spacers so that a modern film will fit inside the camera. It's a 1/16 camera and you can't buy the film anymore. So I've got a 120 film and I've got to make 2 spacers so it fits. Brass is an ideal metal for it. And it turns really nicely on a lathe. I'll probably do. So I'm just going to let these cool down and I can try them and see if they work.
Now that I've finished gluing up the surface of the straps, I can now get on to the best part for me, which is restitching the case together. I'm very fortunate that I have the old holes to reuse and they're in good enough condition.
That goes in that end. That goes in that end, and now we've got a film that is 7mm longer than it was before. So that would go in there like that. There we go, that's that one in. There we go, that's that one in. When this film's drawn out, put onto here, the light will come through the lens and hit the film on the back of here. The last thing I've got to do with this camera is I've got to clean the lens inside and out. All sorts of dust and stuff can get in there, and the cleaner the lens, the better the pictures will be.
Looking very much ready for his close-up, Billy Willy.
This is the final part of Billy Willy's repair now. Julie's done such a beautiful job on his clothes. His new bits are made, he's got a new leg, and very soon he'll be complete. We've put new cords on, and we are attaching them the way they would have been when he was new. I really hope that Emma's going to be happy with Billy Willy. I'm sure she's missed him. He looks so much brighter, younger, and hopefully how she remembers him. Oh, yes. Put your head round straight. Does he look better? Yes, thank you.
Billy Willy arrived at the barn a very sad clown, his face disfigured by an ugly crack. But for Emma, he provides a vital connection to her much-missed father.
My dad gave him to me just before he died, so he means the world to me. He's never been out of my sight before, so an important day for me, an important day for Billy. It feels a bit like his birthday.
Hello, Emma. Welcome back.
Hello. Hi.
How are you feeling?
Excited, really excited.
What's it felt like to not have him with you all this time?
Yeah, just weird. I know he's a puppet, but I've thought about him loads. You know, we've never been parted. I'm so excited. Come on. Oh my God. That's amazing. He looks like when he was new. I love his leg. That is so good. Hello, mate. Oh my God. You are amazing. You two are amazing. Even his holes are sewn up. Oh, he's got a new hat. He's still the same. Oh, it's lush. That is so good. He's brilliant. Thank you.
No,
honestly, thank you so much.
He's been great fun, hasn't he?
Oh, gosh, yeah, we've had so much fun with him. He's definitely made us all smile. Yeah. And, yeah, enjoy him.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. I'm so impressed with what they've done to Billy Willy. I think it would mean so much to my dad. Maybe when Dad brought this for me, he knew that I needed something that was going to make me smile. And it definitely makes me smile. And cry.
At his workbench, Steve is ready to get the ball rolling on the repair and rebuild of the homemade clock.
I've got all the parts cleaned up now and it's looking beautiful. Including the screws, there's about 400 parts, which is amazing. For an amateur like Oswald to make this is a major feat. I've discovered a lot of things that are not quite right. They're a bit quirky. The holes in these two plates should all be lined up absolutely perfectly. And there's one main hole here that is totally out of alignment. The problem with that is that this wheel, instead of fitting into that other wheel like that, nice and square, it's at an angle. And that angle is actually causing some wear on the corner of the teeth of this wheel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to polish those corners off, to round them, to just make it a bit kinder to the mechanism. It'll work much better like that. So I've got to the point now of reassembling everything. And once I've got the movement up together again, I can try and devise some way of stopping that loud clunk that's made every time. And that clunk is actually doing some damage, so I really need to get that fixed. Good, that's the front plate on. And the wheels all spin. I'm just going to put the tilting table and the movement back in place. Good, that seems to be quite nicely balanced actually. Now I need to get on with the anti-clunk mechanism, which is going to be a bit experimental, and I'm not sure whether it will work or not. And that is to add a sprung shaft to the old lever that will actually take up that impact. It'll just bounce slightly. It'll act like a car shock absorber. So I'm just going to use this rod of metal. I need to put a square on the end of that because I don't want it twisting around once I've got it in the mechanism. So I need to do a bit of lathe work. That's going to work really, really well, I think. I need to put a spring in here, and I need to retain that spring. Right, I'll just see if the clip fits in. Good. That's working really, really well. So I'm going to fit this, and when the pin comes round, it's going to hit the top of that and just bounce like that instead of making that horrible clunk that it makes. Right, let's put a wind on it and see whether I can get it working. That's great. That is working so well. So now I just need to make a whole host of different adjustments so that everything's balanced and will work correctly. So, good. Very pleased.
Steve's sister Suzie is also on the home straight with her repair. The 1930s camera case has been re-stitched.
Really looks and feels so much more secure, and I'm really happy with how it's come out.
Brenton's repairs are complete.
Okay, so I need to wind this until I get the number of the first picture on here.
And it's ready to take its first picture in over 60 years.
I just wondered how they
Hello, you two.
How you doing, B?
All right.
Fancy doing a bit of modelling?
All right, let's have it. What have we got to do?
So this camera...
Oh, strike a post. OK, here you go.
I think that's it. So, let's give this a go, then. Yay!
Go.
Done it!
Well
right.
done.
So, I'll go and get those developed, then.
Excellent.
Yes, please.
Okay.
All right.
Well
Thank
done.
you so much for your help.
This camera documented the life of a family in the 1930s and beyond. Hoping to add her own snaps to its history, Eloise has returned to collect it.
I've always been interested in older traditional methods of taking photos, so this is an even older version than what I've been looking at, so I'd love to be able to use it again, bring it back to life in the family.
Hi, Eloise.
Hiya.
Hi, Eloise.
All right?
Lovely to see you again.
Yeah, it's nice to see you too.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
I'm very excited. I don't want to look at it. I know it's covered, but I'm really excited. Oh, it's all I've been thinking about. Yeah, I just want to get out there and start using it. Really, yeah.
Shall we?
I think we should. I think we should.
Oh my goodness. That looks brand new. That's sick.
Have a look.
Oh my goodness. Oh, the case looks so beautiful. I was really worried that they were going to snap off at some point. looks so beautiful. And this, I mean,
Wow.
it folds out.
Folds out.
Yeah. I don't even want to touch it because it's so pretty.
I've converted it to 120 film so you can use it.
Awesome.
Just to show you that it does work. There for you.
Oh my goodness. Oh, the quality's amazing. Oh, thank you. These are awesome.
I'm excited to hear what your plans are for it.
I'm gonna start by just trying to take photos of my family. We're gonna try and get my granddad's brother and sister to recreate one of the photos that we have in the album that was probably taken about 80 years ago now.
That's incredible.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Eloise, thank you for bringing the camera in. It's been really fun working on it.
Thank you guys.
Lovely.
Thank you.
All right.
See you
Well,
later.
take
Bye-bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It's such a beautiful camera. It's a real honour to be able to put this into use now, carry on my great-grandmother's legacy and yeah, keep it going, keep it in the family.
Thanks to Steve's skilled touch, the rolling ball clock has been cured of its clunk. All that remains is to fine-tune the tilt mechanism so it keeps to time.
I've got the ball running really nicely now, and the timing is very dependent on the amount that the table tilts. The steeper it is, the faster it will go. I just need to time the ball running from one side to another, which should be 30 seconds. Right. Just need to speed that up slightly, so I'm going to tilt it slightly more, which will speed it up. Good, that looks absolutely beautiful. I've made masses of adjustments to this clock, and it's the sort of clock that does need to be nurtured. I'm sure Hugh is going to be very, very pleased with this.
This cherished timepiece was hand-built by a clock enthusiast who was struck down with dementia before he could complete his work. Now, after hours of painstaking labour by Steve, Hugh can at last experience the clock as his grandfather intended.
It means a lot to the family and the clock, because my granddad made it from a flat sheet of glass. He very nearly got it working perfectly, and if Steve's got it to work, making this lovely ticking sound, lovely swooshing sound as it goes down the track, it will be absolutely wonderful.
How you doing?
Hi, Jay.
Hello.
Hello, Steve.
How are you feeling?
In a state of nervous anticipation, I think.
All right.
I'm hoping to see my grandfather's clock as it should be, as he nearly got it. It never ran perfectly, and it tended to slam rather than tick, and that was the major problem with it.
I think the sound was quite important to you, isn't it?
The sound is mesmeric. The sound is fantastic. The ball travels down the track and it ticks over. They sound marvellous.
Should we?
Yeah.
You ready?
Isn't that the best thing? Is that not the best thing? It looks wonderful. It's just beautiful, isn't it? Does it work, Steve?
Pop the ball on.
Polish the ball bearing. It's hypnotic, isn't it? It really is.
It is.
This is the moment of truth. Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Well, he's got the glasses out. He's
The
done an
glasses out.
inspection.
I want
All
to
right.
see. You put a shock absorber on it, have you?
I did.
That's perfect. Before, it slammed.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. That is absolutely brilliant.
Thank
I
you.
expected nothing less.
Of course.
Thank you.
How does it feel, Hugh, to see it working now?
It's magic.
Yeah.
It is just a wonderful thing. It just takes me back to the Grandad's house. I can still hear the front door opening. It had a special sound, and you go into this atmospheric house with the clocks chiming and different little world, really.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. Thanks, guys.
Hugh, thank you for bringing this in. Steve's going to get this packed up, and we'll bring it out to your car.
Enjoy it.
I shall, Steve. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you, Jake.
Take care now.
I think it's just fantastic. To see it working as it should and sounding as it should will bring my granddad back. And I hope you're very pleased that, that his clock's lived on. It's not been put in a wardrobe somewhere gathering dust. It's on show. It's working as it should. I just hope he'll be delighted with it, as I am.